breaking and entering, drunk and disorderly, law and order. A former prosecutor and a defence barrister, not your usual pairing. And the result? Conversations about crime and punishment that are guaranteed to get you thinking.
Welcome to Justice Matters, a weekly podcast with Lizzie Green and Jay Merchant. Our episodes are every Monday on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Follow us on Instagram at Justice Matters Pod for clips. Enjoy the episode. This episode deals with murder. Discretion is advised. Good morning, Liz.
Good morning, Jay.
How are you?
I am very well. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing well. Thank you very much.
So, look, I'm jumping on the bandwagon.
All right. There's nothing wrong with the wagon.
True. And I am going to talk about Erin Patterson, a.k.a. the Mushroom Killer.
I'm excited for this because I'm probably the only person in Australia that knows very little. I know mushrooms and beef Wellington, and that's it.
Oh, okay.
No, I know. Seriously. Everybody's asking me about it. I have no idea. So
well,
this is good.
And we have had quite a few listeners say they're looking forward to hearing us talk about it.
All right.
So I thought to make it maybe not just a rehash of everything. The verdict was, I don't know, just under 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
And we know that anyone who's convicted has a month, 28 days
Right.
within which they can appeal. And so I thought, let's talk about what actually happened, but then also maybe what possible grounds of appeal
Yeah, certainly.
might emerge.
Yeah, I'm excited. Let's
Okay.
do this.
All right. So look, I do know that a lot of people will know this, but I'll tell you.
Well, I don't know
yes,
it. So
okay.
they can.
All right. So Erin Patterson is our now convicted murderer,
Right.
50 years old.
All right.
She's been convicted after a jury trial of 3 counts of murder and
Okay.
1 count of attempted murder.
All right.
So pretty serious.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you a little bit about her first. She is a mother of 2.
Young children or?
They have actually been pretty much shielded throughout all of this as far as I can tell.
All right. Well, that's
but I'm
good
pretty
then.
sure they're in their teens.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess it really doesn't matter. I mean,
No.
yeah. Sorry.
She's had quite a varied career. She was an accountant, an air traffic controller, and an animal welfare worker.
All right.
And in that last job in the early 2000s, she met Simon Patterson, who she ended up marrying.
Okay.
So they got married in 2007, had their children. They separated in 2015.
Okay.
They had a series of, separations, reconciliations.
On again, off again
Yes.
type deal.
And as far as I can tell, they're still married. I don't know if they ever got divorced. Maybe they have now, but the reports I read said that they're separated but remain married.
Okay.
Simon Patterson, the husband, has described her, possibly not anymore, but at one point as quite witty, funny, and very intelligent. So they remained quite amicable after their separation in 2015. They were co-parenting.
I was going to say it's probably for the kids.
That's right, even
Yeah.
to the extent where they would still holiday as a family.
Wow.
But that all changed mid-2022 and their relationship deteriorated and there was some animosity between them.
Okay.
Now, Patterson was financially quite comfortable, apparently, and I did see some comment on some social media post about how can she be affording this trial and representation.
Oh, yeah.
And
Well, it is expensive.
very expensive, but apparently she was quite comfortable. She had generous inheritance from her grandmother and her mother. She had a portfolio of properties. And so it wasn't a question of money as far as I can see. I'm not quite sure. There seems to be some suggestion about the children causing, access to the children. I don't know what the issue was, but
Right.
it deteriorated. Now, in July 2023, she invited Simon, her ex,
Yes.
his parents, Don and Gail Patterson,
Okay.
and his aunt, Heather, and her husband, Ian Wilkinson, to Sunday lunch.
Okay.
This was not a common occurrence. I mean, she did apparently get on with her in-laws. But certainly Heather and Ian Wilkinson had not been invited to lunch at her place before, so it was a bit unusual in that respect. But she said she had something important she needed to talk to them about. And so they all got invited, and the night before, Simon, her husband, ex-husband, he pulled out. He decided it was all a bit awkward and he didn't want to go.
Well, I mean, it seems a little bit weird or strange, out of the blue type deal, and then come on over for Sunday lunch, everyone, and hey, let's bring everyone under the tree.
That's right.
Yeah.
I did think it's worth noting her reply when Simon told her he wasn't coming. She apparently texted back, "That's really disappointing. I've spent many hours this week preparing lunch for tomorrow, which has been exhausting in light of the issues I'm facing, and spent a small fortune on beef eye fillet to make beef Wellingtons because I wanted it to be a special meal."
All right.
Well, heavens above, it was very special.
Yes.
Simon didn't respond to that text. He'd already told his parents he wouldn't be attending, and he didn't change his mind. So he did not go to the lunch.
Did the parents?
Yes.
So their son does not go to Sunday dinner, but hey, we're just going to
the other
take
four
a different...
still went.
Okay.
Yes.
There you go.
So,
I mean, that's odd. I'm sorry. If their son's not going to Sunday dinner...
It is unusual, but I suppose there are the grandchildren.
Oh, I suppose, yeah. Were the kids, all right.
Well, they weren't there for lunch, but they have that commonality, and she'd been part of that family for some time. I think it's the Heather and Ian that are a little unusual for them to be invited and to come, but maybe not so much for the in-laws.
Okay, fair enough. Anyway,
they arrived. She had prepared, and then she served individual beef Wellingtons to her guests. And that, for those who don't know, who I don't know who that would be anymore, is eye fillet steaks topped with mushroom paste and encased in pastry.
Yeah, I've only had it once.
I don't know that I've ever had it.
I've had it once in New Zealand, and that's it. We don't get that kind of stuff in Coronation, Alberta. But
I probably won't ever have it now.
No, I'm definitely going to be thinking twice about it from what I anticipate you telling me.
Now, apparently she served each of her guests their meal on a large grey plate.
Okay.
This becomes important because she served herself on a smaller, lighter coloured plate.
A little bit of distinguishing.
Yes.
All right.
She'd also served up a sixth portion just in case Simon arrived.
Well, he might have changed his mind.
Yes, but he didn't. Now, all of the guests ate the food. Apparently, there were some jokes around the table about how much they were eating, and Don had finished off Gail's portion. They were all feeling very jovial and satisfied. And then they got down to the reason for the lunch, and that was...
Yeah, because she wanted to tell him something or something.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so Patterson told them that she had cancer and she needed their advice as to how to tell the kids and how they should work through it and deal with it all. Now, spoiler, she did not have cancer. She never had cancer, and that was just a lie.
I wonder what the motive was for her telling them that she's got cancer.
So I think
I presume she knows what's about to happen after.
I guess she needed a ruse to get them to the lunch.
Oh, fair enough. And to keep them there.
That's right.
Until the cancer is revealed, or the lack thereof.
I mean, that's the only sort of speculation that can be made about that lie. Like, it's such a pointless lie.
Well, now, probably.
Yeah. Anyway, so within 12 hours of the lunch, all four guests were violently ill. The next day, each of them went to hospital with severe symptoms. Don, who had eaten his portion and also about half of his wife's portion, told one doctor he had vomited 30 times in the space of a few hours. So they were really sick. Yep. They were treated by a team of doctors at Austin Health. That doctor told the 7:30 TV show they were devastatingly unwell, certainly the sickest patients in the whole state. But it is unusual to have four patients similarly afflicted, and they were critically ill with multiple organ failure.
Far out.
So it was so serious so quickly.
Yeah.
It began in their livers, the organ failure. The ICU teams worked overtime, but for three of them, Don, Gail, and Heather, they died.
All right.
Ian was saved the doctor puts it down to the extraordinary work by the clinical team in the ICU. He was in multiple organ failure, but he ultimately stabilized and he was able to survive.
Far out.
He was in a coma for some time.
I mean, this is just not having a bad French fry at it. This is something that
Extreme.
Yeah.
Have you ever had food poisoning?
I have had it once, and whilst I thought I was in rough shape compared to having any organ failure, not even close.
No, me either.
No.
And so the question then becomes, was Patterson sick too? I mean, they all ate lunch together.
We all had the family meal.
So she did, in fact, take herself to hospital 2 days later. So all the others went the next day after being sick from 12 hours after the lunch.
All right.
And she reported feeling ill.
All right.
But she did initially rebuff the urgent pleas of the staff who wanted her and her children, who she claimed had also eaten the leftovers, to be immediately admitted for treatment. And she refused. She was adamant she didn't need the kids to be seen. She said she'd scraped the mushroom paste off theirs because they didn't like mushrooms, I think, and that she didn't need them to come to hospital and she didn't need to stay. One doctor who had seen the other sick lunch guests, because they're from a small community.
Okay.
So obviously seeing the same medical staff.
And this was down south, wasn't it? Or
in Victoria.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. But so this one doctor who spoke to Patterson was so concerned when she discharged herself or left without further treatment that he called the police. And I listened to the 000 recording and he said, I'm very concerned for her because she has been exposed potentially to very serious toxins and she won't accept medical help. And so you can hear the police officer saying, and what's her name? Patterson, first name Erin.
But when you've got a doctor that goes out of the way to phone police,
like it's
pretty serious stuff. And I would say it's unorthodox.
He said he found her unconcerned approach to her own potential situation very concerning, and also her indifference to the other four.
Yeah, they were at the same table.
And she saw them in the hospital and didn't even really show any kind of real concern, apparently, according to this doctor. He said she sat quietly in a chair that was only a couple of meters away from Ian and Heather. The absence of concern for their well-being, I found that quite stark in terms of its oddness. Mm-hmm. So it's not painting a good picture. There are some little red flags.
Yeah.
All right. So when they finally got her in for checks, neither she nor her children had any similar symptoms to the others who'd eaten at the house, and tests on them showed no traces of what did, in fact, poison the other four, which was death cap mushrooms.
All right. Death cap mushrooms.
So after a precautionary 24 hours, she was able to leave. When the police spoke to her and said, but we're really concerned or curious why you didn't get so sick and everyone else didn't, she said, they'd brought an orange cake and after lunch I just ate a slice and then I had another slice and pretty much ate the whole thing and then I felt so sick that I threw up.
All right.
So she said that obviously got rid of.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So the cake made her throw up all of the toxins or the mushrooms.
And apparently she has had some history of bulimia. So that might give credence to that story. But anyway, that was her explanation for why.
But I mean, if the one fella had thrown up 30 times, surely an orange cake isn't just going to be the remedy.
I wouldn't have thought so. No. All right. So there was obviously an investigation.
Yeah, I was going to say the spotlight.
Yes, was definitely on her. The day after she was discharged from hospital, there was CCTV footage showing her travelling to a local dump and disposing of a food dehydrator.
Right.
A forensic analysis of that dehydrator showed it had traces of death cap mushrooms in it and her fingerprints on it.
So I'm assuming then that dump or whatever wasn't very big. I'm just looking at it from the side of, all right, she takes something to the dump, she leaves.
And they find it.
And then there's traces of the mushrooms. So either the dump wasn't very big. It was, there's just continuity.
Well, yeah, I don't know how big the dump was, but
Yeah.
they
They
tracked
found
it
it.
down.
They found it,
Yes.
and they've somehow linked it back to her.
Yes. And they asked her questions about the mushrooms that she had served, and there was a whole lot of different answers given. She said some of them had been brought dried already from an Asian grocer. She couldn't remember exactly where. She didn't have any receipts. When asked about the brand or for transaction records, she said they were in plain packaging. She must have paid cash. The doctor who first examined her told police she said the mushrooms were from Woolworths. So
I don't think you can get. I don't eat a lot of mushrooms, but I'm pretty sure you probably can't get this type of mushrooms from Woolworths or Coles or IGA or anything like that.
Pretty sure you couldn't even really get them from an Asian grocer.
Yeah.
I mean, they're very toxic.
Okay.
But detectives found out that death cap mushrooms had been spotted in 2 nearby towns in the weeks before the lunch. And there were concerned locals posting pictures and locations to online plant databases such as iNaturalist to alert people to where these death cap mushrooms were.
So there must be some shroom enthusiasts.
Experts. Yes, I think there are.
Yeah.
And her internet history showed she'd used the website to view the death cap mushroom sightings at least once, and her mobile phone location data appeared to show her travelling to both areas.
She's going to blame that on the kids. It was the kids looking up that instead of something other.
Well, she also then purchased the dehydrator on her way back from one of those trips.
Okay.
So she told police originally she'd never had a dehydrator. She did have an instruction manual in her kitchen drawer. And there were posts on a Facebook group she was part of, which was actually, ironically, a true crime group.
Wow.
That she boasted about using the dehydrator with reference to mushrooms because she was dehydrating mushrooms and hiding them in her kids' food to see if they'd notice.
Far out.
So she'd kind of done herself.
Yeah. I mean, she said she didn't have a dehydrator, and yet she's on social media saying that she's using trickery on her own kids.
That's right. So she also had 3 phones around that time, apparently, 2 of which disappeared shortly afterwards. The one she did hand over to police had been repeatedly wiped, like factory reset. One time it was factory reset while the police were there searching her house.
Oh, you're kidding.
So she was desperately trying to get rid of whatever was on that phone.
I mean, I wonder what the other 2 phones were. Is there some sort of black market trade for these death caps, or what are we talking about here?
I don't know. Like the phones, I mean, there was a media block for a lot of things that that the media had uncovered or knew, but obviously couldn't tell and
report on. Yeah.
And I think there was one show that was played after the verdict. And there was footage of her talking to a journalist. She had invited a journalist into her home.
Hopefully not for lunch.
No, not for lunch. But this phone that had gone missing was a pink phone.
Okay.
So they never found it. But apparently in this footage that she let them record, the pink phone is on the table.
Oh, really?
Yes. So it all is...
I'm curious as to what the phones were used for.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
So they charged her 3 months later with the murder of Don, Gail and Heather and attempted murder of Ian. She pleaded not guilty and her trial began on the 29th of April this year.
Yeah, I mean, the circumstantial case, the red flags, the dehydrator, the CCTV footage.
Quite a lot there.
The activity of her after at the hospital. You've got the doctor phoning the police.
Oh, and I will tell you, I know this is from what I've read myself in the media, but a lot of people have a lot of issue with the fact that she said she was sick. She did have diarrhea, but they can't reconcile that with the fact that she was wearing white pants on the day she said she had diarrhea. Like, they're like, what kind of person would wear white pants when they're having that kind of an issue?
Oh, I'm still stuck on the orange cake, the fact that the orange cake.
So at trial, the court was told it was not in dispute that the beef Wellingtons contained death cap mushrooms because they'd found leftovers and they were able to examine them.
Okay.
and it was not in dispute that she had put them there. The court also heard that both prosecution and defense agreed or accepted she'd never had cancer. So they were all accepted facts.
Yep.
What was in dispute was whether she meant to poison the guests or not.
Well, I don't know how much there is to dispute about that. I mean, these. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry. Her lawyer said, Colin Mandy, SC, he said it was a tragic accident.
Really, a tragic accident, having to source these death cap mushrooms, beef Wellington is not just flipping a burger.
No. There
is a lot of preparation that goes into it. You got the
Correct.
pastry, you've got whatever else in it.
The paste.
Yes.
Yeah. But so Judge Beale said there were two key issues at the heart of the case: whether she deliberately poisoned anyone and whether she intended to kill or cause serious injury when she did, if she did.
All right.
So it's all about, what she intended. Okay. So the prosecution relied on all of those things I talked about: the data from the phones, about the locations, the CCTV footage, the evidence she was using mushrooms deliberately in the house.
The computer searches, all of that internet history.
Yes, that's right. They had evidence of a photo of death cap mushrooms on a scale, kitchen scale, in her kitchen. They found that on her device. The internet history showing she'd viewed the iNaturalist post, and obviously the actual leftovers, which had
the remnants of it.
Yes. So in her closing arguments, the prosecutor said that Patterson has told so many lies it's hard to keep track of them. They alleged she lied to her relatives about the cancer. She lied to police. She lied to medical staff about foraging for wild mushrooms.
I just want to touch on the cancer bit there, because that in and of itself, if you look at that in isolation, it is, when you tell somebody you've got cancer and you don't have cancer, that is an emotive type statement to garner sympathy and support. And I wonder if that in and of itself inflamed the jury at all, quite separate to what transpired.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyone who has had a relative deal with cancer.
Yes, my mum.
My mum.
Yep.
It does make your blood boil that you would use that kind of.
And I'm just wondering if, the jury heard that and was like, nah, sorry, she's done already.
Well, I would hope not, because that's not what they were charged
to do. No, I know, and I'm not saying they did. I'm just, as soon as somebody uses cancer as a leverage point.
What the prosecution could not provide was a motive. So there was...
Yeah, because it's not like it's the husband.
That's right. He was meant to be there.
That's right.
But the prosecutor said that there was no particular motive for the alleged crime, but the jury could still have no difficulty in finding her guilty.
Right.
Now, her ex-husband gave evidence at the trial. He said that there was no inkling of ill will towards his family. He said she especially got on with Dad. He said, I think she loved his gentle nature. But Patterson herself told the court she was feeling increasingly isolated from Simon and his family. There was evidence presented which indicated she'd grown frustrated with them. The prosecutor said to her in court, you had two faces, making Patterson read aloud quite offensive Facebook messages in which she had called Simon a deadbeat and his parents a lost cause.
Wow.
I know.
Come on.
I know. So defense...
I've been called a lot worse than that.
Deadbeat. Surely not.
Well, a deadbeat. You know what I mean?
So the defense said the lack of a clear motive was huge. That, of course, motive is not an element.
No.
But it certainly is.
Well, and I guess, what do you rely on if you're defending this one? The amount of evidence prior to the trial that was gathered, you have to come up with something.
That's right.
And this seems to me like it's a bit of a straw.
Yeah. Well, she said...
And we're grasping here.
But so she did give evidence, which is
She gave evidence.
Yeah.
Wow.
And was on this stand, I think, for quite some time.
Oh, that's right. I think I saw a media report or something like that.
So she said she realised in the days after the lunch that the beef Wellington may have accidentally included the dried mushrooms she had foraged and mistakenly put in a container with the store-bought ones, but she was too scared to tell the police that because she would be implicated.
But hang on. We've got death cap mushrooms. So why the hell would you source them and use them in the first place? Are they used for something that isn't toxic?
So I think her story was she didn't know they were death cap mushrooms. She'd just foraged for mushrooms.
Oh, okay. So she just went out to the forest just to pick mushrooms, despite the fact having internet browser history and Facebook posts about death cap mushrooms.
Correct.
Great.
Very believable.
Yeah.
Not. She also said she'd wanted to cook something special and
was special.
Oh, very. And had made several changes to the recipe, which included serving the individual portions. Obviously, the prosecution said that was so she could make sure there was no contamination of her own
But
portion.
I don't know how you serve it together. It is a meal that is essentially a log of beef and...
But so she made individual little ones.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so instead of a big...
like platter or whatever.
Beef fillet, she got individual
Oh, I
fillets.
see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Yep.
Like she cooked them individually.
Yep, individually as opposed to one big one and then just serving it.
That's right.
Okay, fair enough.
She said the messages critical of her in-laws were just harmless venting. She said the cancer claim was a cover for the fact she intended to get weight loss surgery and was embarrassed about that.
How do you...
I know.
I mean, weight loss and cancer. That one, that dog don't hunt.
She or defense said cell phone tracking data isn't very precise, so that was not really good evidence that she was where the death cap mushrooms had been sighted.
Oh, I can venture a guess the police know where she was based off of the cell phone towers and such.
She didn't really have a reason for why she lied to the police about the food dehydrator, apart from not wanting to be in trouble.
That's a pretty big one, though.
And she lied to police when she told them she never foraged for mushrooms and didn't really have an answer for that. Her counsel said that they were the actions of a woman worried she'd be blamed for the accidental deaths of her guests.
Well,
so that was
she was blamed for
that was their
death.
argument. Now, her lawyer said she's not on trial for lying. This is not a court of moral judgment. And in his final instructions, Justice Beale told the jury members that they should not convict her simply for lying, as there are all sorts of reasons why a person might behave in a way that makes them look guilty. And they also couldn't make a decision based on great sympathy for the Patterson and Wilkinson families and victims.
Right.
The jury were then sequestered for their deliberations, meaning that they were accommodated together, not able to go home while they were deliberating.
Which is quite rare here
Very
in Queensland.
rare,
yes.
yeah. And they took almost a week to reach their verdict.
I'm surprised it took a week.
It was a 9-week trial, lots of evidence to go through.
I know, but it's not like it's it just, I'm trying to look at this from the defense perspective, but I would be grasping at straws.
I know, but I guess if they're doing their job properly, they're told to consider all of the evidence.
That's right.
And if it's 9 weeks of evidence, I guess a week of deliberations means they're doing their job properly.
No, and I mean, that gives confidence in the jury process. I mean, I think if it were me on the trial, it would have been sorted at the end of the closing submissions. It's a good thing I'm not on jury.
Very good. So after that week of deliberations, she was convicted of all 4 charges.
Good.
So she hasn't been sentenced yet.
Well, she's going in for life.
Well, yeah. It's just then how long is the non-parole period?
Right.
But obviously anyone who's convicted has 28 days to appeal. And so I wondered what sort of things might they raise?
Yeah, well, I'm wondering right now. I'm just trying to think, the evidence of the dehydrator should have been excluded. Perhaps I'm just trying to think.
So I'm not sure about what arguments there were for exclusion of evidence, but broadly there were 3 or 4 things I think possibly could be raised. And is not, I'm no expert.
No, this is a hypothetical.
But the first one was an issue with the sequestering of the jury.
Okay.
So obviously this trial, it took place in a little town called Morwell, which was not her hometown, but was close. And so it's only small. And turns out that they put the jury in the same accommodation where the prosecution team and the key police officer were also staying.
Yeah, I guess I'm curious as to why they sequestered the juror in the first place.
Well, the media is another thing I think we need to talk about. It has been just a frenzy.
Yeah, I see that now. I mean, on Twitter, I refresh and it's memes and photographs of mushrooms and stuff.
I guess to try and cut down the chance of...
I know, but there's a lot of high-profile matters where the jury is still not sequestered. So there must have been some sort of reason, or they were just extra cautious.
Yeah, I don't know why.
But I can tell you that, in Queensland, there are circumstances where you might be riding the elevator and there's a jury member that's there or close by, and you get this immediate uncomfortable feeling like I shouldn't be here.
Yes.
So I would like to think that the prosecution team and the police would have reacted the same way.
Well, and they said, so the judge was informed that this had happened, but the judge was told there had been no interaction between the prosecution team and the jury. The jury had a separate floor, eaten their meals in a conference room separately, but all guests used the same entrance at the hotel.
Yeah, I can feel the awkwardness right now.
Yeah, so the jury was moved. As soon as they found that out, the judge said, I understand there's a shortage of accommodation, but it's not ideal. Prosecution said there'd been no unlawful or inappropriate contact. But I think if they're going to be picking on things, that's possibly one
for
thing.
Sure. And it could be the case that it comes out that perhaps something was said at one point.
Yeah,
maybe they've come up with that. I guess we'll wait to find out, right?
Then we have the media impact. So obviously she has been the subject of discussion.
Oh, yeah.
Globally, I think. And thousands of people have commented, made, posts or TikToks or whatever it might be. There's memes. There's a huge graffiti art of her in Melbourne.
Right. I saw
So she's certainly very well known. And I guess that raises the issue every time. Can you have an impartial jury when there's been such huge attention and publicity? I mean, we've talked on this podcast about the Chris Dawson trial, and he had a judge alone trial because of the media attention to his case. So having a jury trial was a pretty big step in light of how notorious she was.
Yeah. I mean, as I said, though, there are a number of high-profile matters in Queensland and in Australia where it's not judge alone, it's still a jury.
Yeah.
And that's irrespective of the media. I mean, we've talked about Gable Tosti or Eric Thomas now, and we've talked about a few others that... So I'm not sure. There must have been some reason.
Well, I mean, it's her right to have the jury trial. So she obviously didn't ask for a judge alone.
Right.
And you can't, they have to agree.
Yeah, you have to make an application.
Yeah. So anyway, the court released some numbers. So 252 journalist and outlet emails were on the court's media list throughout the trial.
Yep.
There were 15 international media outlets included there, the UK, US, New Zealand. There were also 9 authors, 7 podcasts and podcasters, 7 documentary crews, and 1 television drama series crew in attendance.
Well, we should have been on the road list.
We should have been on the road. And already the case has inspired a television special, a silver screen drama series, a bevy of podcasts, several documentaries, and a handful of books.
Nice.
Didn't take long.
No.
So
it comes back to this concept of these exotic type mushrooms, this weapon that was used, right? It's just so mysterious. And then the shroud of circumstances around it. And we just out of the blue picked beef Wellington.
I know. And actually one person who was interviewed, a criminologist I think it was, said that there are shades of Lindy Chamberlain here because there's commentary on how Erin Patterson reacted and what her demeanor was like, and it wasn't what you would expect.
Well, the doctor phoned the police.
That's right.
So that's an indication.
And I guess, female killers do still create this kind of greater, right or wrong, greater idea of, but that's so unusual for a woman, to kill off the family. And,
Yeah.
it's not.
And maybe there's this perception that they should be more emotional.
Something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to stereotype
No,
women
but
here, but,
that's something that is commented on, that people aren't reacting. And we know that people don't react.
I
just one
remember
way.
the Lindy Chamberlain. I mean, it was before my time. But but I remember seeing her on television and very, very, it
Stern.
looked stern, cold,
Yep.
non-emotive.
Yep.
And, for your daughter to have allegedly went through that or now went through that, you would be expecting some emotion, some tears, some just
reaction.
something.
I know. And that is such a mistake. It's like the perception that we now fully understand that if you are a victim of a sexual assault, for example, people react so differently. There's no one correct way to respond. And I think the same must be true of this.
Absolutely.
Now, I did think this was interesting. There was a little slip along the way for someone in the media.
Okay.
So Kyle Sandilands and Jackie O have a radio show.
Yes, I've heard of those names. Yeah.
Yes. Now, in June, they discussed the case in what has been termed highly prejudicial terms, with Sandilands issuing a call to lock that bitch up.
See, I have such a problem with that because this isn't the only matter. We take a look at the Logie's speech right before the Lerman/Higgins ACT trial. Mm-hmm. And I have a significant problem. I mean, I was blocked by Lisa Wilkinson on Twitter.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I just find it
you're
reprehensible.
Famous.
No, I'm not famous. But I just find it reprehensible,
yeah.
in my opinion. It's just something that is prejudicial, unnecessary, and there's listeners. Better. There's listeners. This is not like it is their first day on the job.
That's right.
And they're there for a purpose. They have a following. And what else are we as reasonable people to think when we listen to that?
And I would hazard a guess that of all radio hosts, Kyle Sandilands would have more knowledge than most because he has been in trouble before.
Oh, okay. See, I don't know.
He's very inflammatory.
I don't know him that well.
But so by that afternoon, the judge had a transcript of the radio show.
Oh, wow.
And he said, I encourage all commentators to engage their brains before they open their mouths, as they may otherwise land themselves and their organizations in hot water.
Well, and as it should be.
Yeah. So,
a summons should have been issued. He should have came in and been forced to testify and answer to some sort of contempt, in my opinion.
Yeah. The matter has been referred to the DPP for possible contempt of court charges. There's no update on that. All right. So that was the second thing, the media.
Yes.
As a ground of appeal, potentially.
Okay. They could have said that, yes, they certainly could raise the argument that the viewership, the listeners of that radio show were influenced.
Yeah. All right. And then we had a juror discharge during the trial. So they had the foresight to impanel more than 12 because you only need 12 for deliberations. So they had reserves. But one juror was discharged after it was discovered they'd discussed the case with family and friends outside the jury room, violating the clear instructions given by the judge. They said that it was a proactive measure to maintain trial fairness. They said that there wasn't any impact on the rest of the jury, but jury deliberations are secret. You don't know what goes on in that jury room. So how do you know that for sure?
Well, the judge would have to make inquiries with the jury themselves.
So, good on them for discharging the juror. But again, I think is that opening the door for some kind of
potentially
argument.
We see it once in a while here too, though. You have the odd juror that'll go on social media, and that's part of the clear instructions as well.
Yeah, that's right.
In certain circumstances, not to do your own investigation work.
That's right.
Not to go on the internet and Google death cap mushrooms
Or
and
one
such.
of my favorites, the juror who set up a Facebook poll asking if they should find the accused guilty or not guilty.
Oh, that's worth a charge. That's worth a charge.
I think there was for
Yeah.
that one. And then there was the question of no motive or a lack of motive and the very circumstantial nature of the case.
Yes.
So
I can get I get the motive question despite it not being an element of the offense, but certainly the circumstantial case, there was so much circumstance.
So
From what
much.
you've told me, there was more than enough.
Well, and there are plenty of good convictions based on circumstantial cases.
And less circumstantial evidence than this one.
Yeah, but when you think about the grounds of appeal, that the jury's verdict was unreasonable having regard to the evidence, it has to be based on an argument of circumstantial evidence.
Yes.
So
yeah.
that's,
I mean, my immediate reaction would be to find a way to pick apart the dehydrator. All right. And that perhaps that was, because if the dehydrator goes, then that's
you lose
one.
a lot.
Well, I think you do, because you've got the lie about the dehydrator. You've got the CCTV footage.
Yeah.
So I think if there's an angle to remove that dehydrator from the variables, and maybe that might be something that they look at. I'm not sure.
I don't see why they would, though, with her fingerprints on it and photos and stuff. But anyway,
yes, no,
so
good point,
that
good
was
point.
what I thought.
Yep.
So also, obviously, she could appeal her sentence once she is sentenced. But
could say it's manifestly excessive,
depending
or
what it is.
Maybe should thank the heavens that she's not in Concordia Parish, Louisiana.
Oh, yes. Yes, that's quite serious outcomes there.
Yeah.
All right. So I guess we just have to wait and see. But before we finish, I wanted to just also talk about one other thing that I have noticed in the media about the case. And that's about the fact that she has received so much attention and everybody knows her face and everybody knows the mushroom killer. And sometimes when that happens, the victims get lost along the way.
I would say they have already been lost. Because I don't see, when I click on Twitter to get an update or anything, I don't see anything about the victims.
No.
Because as we were coming into this podcast, I didn't know who actually died.
That's right.
But I know who she is.
Yeah. And so I wanted to finish by talking about the victims.
Yes, let's mention them.
I'm not the only person who's noticed this, but I think it is something I wanted to emphasize.
Yes.
So there has been people who knew and loved the victims.
Absolutely.
Who have spoken up and saying, can we talk about them?
Yeah.
And so one of them was local councillor Nathan Hersey. He said that they were respected and adored by many in the South Gippsland region. He said this has been an extremely high-profile case that's brought a lot of attention, often unwanted, to our local community, and some people haven't had that humanity. They've certainly lost focus that for people there is a loss, there is grief. The Corumburra Baptist Church, where all of the victims attended and Ian Wilkinson was the pastor, said the trio were very special people who loved God and loved to bless others. We all greatly miss Heather, Don and Gail, whether we were friends for a short time or over 20 years. They've also been described as having altruistic natures and kind hearts. They were just lovely. They were funny. They were the nicest people. And so I just think we can't lose sight of the fact that we have 3 people who died and Ian who lost his wife, nearly lost his life. And so I think we need to remember that. And they weren't present, I don't think, for the verdict, but they were present for a lot of the trial. Oh, the family and Ian. And Simon as well. I mean, it was his parents that were
his
killed.
family that were killed.
And her kids, or their kids.
I look at it from the kids' perspective because something like this transpires and they are going to be forever.
Well, whatever happens, their mother is lost to them.
Yes.
At this stage in prison.
And it's probably a good thing.
Well,
I don't know if I'll probably get some backlash over that,
but it is just a tragedy for the victims, and I do count the kids and Simon in that group of victims. So, yes, the trial was a sensation. And Erin Patterson, I think, was rightly convicted.
Yes.
I would like to think she won't successfully appeal and that she will serve her life sentence. But at the same time, I do want us to remember the people who were most impacted from her actions and let their names be also remembered along with hers.
It should be them that are on the Twitter so that everybody can see their face.
That's right.
And recognize their names as opposed to hers.
That's right. So that's my little moral of the Erin Patterson story. But I guess we still have to watch this space to see what happens next.
To be continued, because if there's an appeal coming, certainly I'll be interested.
Oh, me too.
We'll have to have a round 2 on what's unearthed in terms of grounds of appeal.
Yes.
And the angle. I mean, these are senior counsel, King's counsel, so they're above me. So I'm sure they're
very
well
learned.
in tuned. Yes. Very learned.
So there you go.
Right on. Well, thank you so much. I'm going to have to think twice now about beef Wellington. I don't think I can look at it the same now.
No, but I do still like mushrooms.
Yeah. There you go.
Thanks, Jay.
Thank you. Thank you for listening to the episode. If you enjoyed it, please rate and review the podcast. If you're interested in clips, check out @Justice Matters Pod on TikTok and Instagram.